So good evening, everyone. The meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Urbana Free Library here on September 15th will come to order. And pursuant to the state executive orders, which temporarily suspend the in-person presence requirements and eliminate the limitation on remote access of the Illinois Open Meetings Act due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the board is suspending the usual electronic attendance and voting section of the board bylaws and will allow all board members to attend this meeting remotely and fully participate remotely. Roll call, please, Becky.
Beth?
Yes.
Sharice?
Here.
Barbara Jones?
Here.
Okay, John?
Present.
Okay. Lupe? Oops, you're muted. Okay. And Jane?
I'm here.
Okay. Oh, and Michael's on his way in.
Here on the phone.
Okay, yep. Okay, so Shane is on the phone and we're letting Michael in. We'll call his name in a minute here and get him officially. Michael, we're just calling roll. Are you here?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
I feel like I'm here.
Okay.
Great. Great. Hey, welcome. Okay. Are there any additions, corrections, or modifications for the agenda? Okay. With the agenda approved, we probably don't have any public. I don't see any public.
Let me check the email real quick. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Do we need to do a roll call for the approval of the agenda?
If we're going to vote on it, yes.
Yeah, we need a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, give me just a second here.
Sure.
Move that around. Okay, nothing since I looked earlier today. Nope. Okay.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I'm gonna first
And or
do-
second.
Okay. In a second. Do we get that?
Second.
I
All
bet-
right.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So no public comment. So
Roll call vote.
roll call vote. Gosh, darn it. You know, yes. Roll call, Becky.
Okay. Beth,
Yes.
Sharice,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Lupe,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes,
and Jane.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Now let's move on to item 7, which is the presentation of the FY21 per capita grant requirements, presentations, and discussions from Serving Our Public 4.0 standards for Illinois Public Libraries, access and safety. Take it away, Celeste.
Hi, you are familiar with the Serving Our Public book. We've been working out of 3.0. Committee of People developed 4.0, and the good news is in order to get your per capita grant funding for the library, which is just over $50,000, about $52,000, the board now only needs to work out of this book and meet these standards. In the past, you were working out of the standards and you were working out of the trustee facts file. And then there was also professional development that was mentioned that for staff and for the board as extra pieces. And with the passage and adoption of the new standards, which I emailed you all, the state library is only requiring that the board use this book. And as long as we're meeting these requirements or showing progress towards meeting these requirements, then we will receive our per capita funding for public libraries. So the goal is that each year, the library boards across the state for public libraries will read all of the chapters. And so if we take a chapter or two a month and do it every month, then we'll have a nice comprehensive look on a yearly basis whether or not the library is meeting the standards. The good news is we are meeting the standards. And so for the vast majority of things, we are already meeting the standards and have been. And so on a monthly basis, we'll be reviewing a couple of topics, and then we can have whatever discussions you like around them. And I'll point to areas, or whoever's talking that month will point to areas that maybe we want to show some pride in the work that's been done, or show where we're going to put more attention to get a little bit better at a particular thing. But overall, we are meeting the standards, and this month is no exception. So I will tell you, the deadline for the per capita grant application is usually January 15th. Because of COVID, there is a movement at the state library to move the due date till March. But because of statutory requirements and such, they may not be able to do that. So for now, we're moving ahead as if everything has to be done by January 15th. And again, we'll bring you two to four topics per month. We'll let you know in advance what the topics are. Each chapter is just a couple, 3-4 pages. And so hopefully it's not burdensome, and then we'll get up to 1 or 2 a month. So we're going to talk about access, which is chapter 4. And
Can I ask a
one thing I
question
want
real
to point
quick?
out about access that the board needs to take a look at is already in our strategic plan. One thing we want to look at is every 5 years, the board should review the long-term space needs of the library in conjunction with the strategic plan. And we are doing that as part of the activity plan under the enhance part of the plan. So when we talk about activity planning later, you'll see that we're going to be looking at, again, space needs and what that could look like in reflection of what activities the library is implementing to meet the strategic plan goals. So that is one place where we do need to catch up a little bit, but we're already on target to do that within the next year or so. So if we look through all of the parts of the access chapter, we are meeting all the pieces. So some of the parts have to do with, does the library have adequate lighting outside the building? Does the library have parking? Is it accessible to everyone? And we do meet all of those requirements. One of the categories has to do with the different ages of patrons, and does the library have space that is separate for each of the different ages of patrons? So do you have a separate teen area, small child area, and adult area? And we do. And you know that one way that we work with programming, especially for the teens to give them their space, because our teen area is tiny at the moment, is we have the teen open lab so that physically, before COVID, they could have a place where they could really be and have the computers and have the crafts and have gathering time. We also would, for a couple of hours a day, take over the quiet study room so the kids had, the kids that just wanted to gather could have that plain old gathering space in an enclosed area so that they weren't as noisy for the rest of the library. So within the constraints of the space that we have, I think that we've done more than a fine job of making available the spaces in a different way. We do have a donor that has pledged up to $20,000 or $25,000 to renovate the teen space on the first floor. That's going to be a gift over a period of years. And so we're looking at what are pieces that we can do in an incremental fashion that would make sense. And right now with COVID, we're just putting that on hold to see what other things we might change about the library. But we have identified teen space as a priority. And again, have a donor already, a donor has already reached out to say that they're interested in funding expansion and renovation, which is awesome. Questions 9 through 11, that was question 8. If we look at 9 through 11, we can say yes to all of those. And one of the questions had to do with furniture. And so again, I just want to highlight that we were looking at purchasing new furniture to replace that cozy furniture in the front couple of rooms, but and furniture that would wear well. The furniture we have is probably 15 years old, and so it's stood up a long time, but furniture that would be a little bit maybe sturdier in some cases, maybe have a different style to it, and that would be more bed bug proof because a lot of people sit in those chairs and occasionally some people bring in little friends. And so we're very thoughtful about when we purchase new furniture that it will be appropriate for the space and for the use it will get. And now we're not going to buy furniture because we're not going to be cozy in furniture right away. We're going to wait and see with COVID, what are the developments? How many pieces of furniture do we want in a space now? Before we had 4 chairs back to back with little tables and people were all crunched together, they were not 6 feet apart. So perhaps we buy some furniture, but we buy less and we space it differently. So we'll be thinking about that over the next year or so as we see what seems appropriate. So those are some of the highlights of Chapter 4 access. Again, we're meeting all the criteria except for the one about looking at space needs every 5 years. And we are starting that process now. So I feel like we are meeting it in that we are moving ahead in that direction. Any questions about access kinds of things?
I just have a question, but it's not about access. Is there a test on this that we have to do?
There is no test. You just have to say that you discussed it and thought about it, Charisse.
Okay.
Girl Scout honor, right? On my honor, I will try. So
Do my duty for God and my country. Yeah. Okay.
So the next chapter we're going to talk about is safety. And I am so pleased that you, the board, have implemented a number of policies that address safety for our staff and for our patrons in a number of ways. You have given us, the staff, tools to be able to have things to point to as we help people behave appropriate in the library. So the most recent one you approved was the workplace violence policy, which in a couple of circumstances we have had to talk to patrons about. Upon occasions, patrons make threats against staff of physical violence, or they verbally are abusive. And so this has given us an extra tool to be able to talk to patrons about appropriate behavior that is in a different, it's got a different significance than the rules of behavior policy, which talks about disruptive behavior. So that workplace violence is more specific and has helped us, again, in just a couple of circumstances, but it's good that we have it. And it helps create an environment of trust with staff because they know we're looking out for them. They know you're looking out for them in their best interest. So rules of behavior, respectful work environment, workplace violence, those are a couple different policies that help us manage behavior of staff and patrons in the space. Again, generally speaking, across the board, we meet the criteria. There are a couple places that I want to highlight. One of the questions talks about disaster plans. Actually, a couple questions talk about the disaster plan. And they want to make sure that staff know what to do in a disaster. So we have two different ways that staff can learn about disaster preparation. One is an actual disaster manual, which is printed and located throughout the library and the departments. It's also on our intranet, but we also have this handy dandy little flip chart that we have in all the different offices by the doors on a clip. So if the alarm goes off or if there's an emergency, you grab it and you go, and it's got all the little cheat sheets like what to do in an earthquake, what to do in a medical emergency. And then part of what is in the checklist in the chapter is, do you have information about how to turn things off? So if you have to turn off the elevators, how do you do that? Or if you have to turn off the furnace, how do you do that? If you have a bomb threat, what do you do? So this is very practical. It's only this thick and it's in all the different places in the offices. So you can just grab it and go. So we meet the different criteria. We need to add the fire department to our little phone list that is at each public service desk phone. We've got police non-emergency and of course 911 for emergency. So we need to add fire, but again, across the board, we are meeting the different criteria and I'm very pleased. It talks about the commitment to safety and positive environment. And it talks about how staff must share the responsibility of to safety and security of patrons and staff. So we are all looking out for each other and we're all looking out for our patrons and we're looking out for us. So it's a nice cozy place of care to be. So any questions about safety?
I know what to do during an earthquake.
I bet you do, California woman.
I know.
And I bet we're really good about tornadoes.
Yep.
Okay, well, next month we'll have 2 or 3 more for you and I will send you an email to let you know what to prepare for. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Celeste. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Does anyone want to remove anything from the consent agenda? And are there any corrections to the minutes? Okay. So we are going to look for a motion to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the board meeting minutes of August 11th, the payroll for August 14th, 28th, and September 11th, 2020, the bills for August 13th, August 21st, August 27th, September 4th, and September 11th, 2020. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Gotta do a roll
Roll
call.
call.
Oh, roll call, gosh, darn, you know, it's just like muscle memory here. All right, roll call.
Beth,
Yes.
Sharice,
Yes.
Barbara Jones,
Here, yes.
John,
Aye.
Lupe,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Jane.
Yes.
Did I get everybody? I think so. Okay.
I think we did. All right, so the motion carries. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the other individual action items. The first is a resolution 2020-11 to thank Christian Shearer for his service at as the library board president. And so I'd like to read the resolution, and then I will try to display with my camera the appreciation gift that we will be given to Chris. So this is the resolution to thank Chris for his service as library board president. Whereas Chris Shearer has been a trustee of the library board of the Urbana Free Library since July 1999, and has been president of the board since July 2013. Whereas during his tenure, the Urbana Free Library has provided greater value to its community in a number of ways, including supporting youth by approving an intergovernmental agreement between the library and the Urbana School District 116 to benefit to students residing outside the library's taxing district boundaries, and to the Urbana School District 116 certified staff and licensed support staff who serve students. And by approving extensive changes to the circulation and interlibrary loan policy that removed checkout restrictions on child library cards, expanded lending limits, and renewals for greater patron access. By launching new collections, including musical instruments and hands-on literacy, math and science kits, and launching new services, including 3D printing, and increasing the number of days the Teen Open Lab is available for a week. By partnering with Care for You and the School of Information Sciences at Illinois for expanded student professional opportunities. And whereas the Champaign County Historical Archives expanded by increasing hours open to the public, accepting the Shuna Air Museum and the News Gazette collections. And whereas while Chris was a member of the Urbana Free Library Foundation Board, the foundation increased support by purchasing the lot at 202 West Green Street as a gift to the Urbana Free Library, funding the reconstruction of the original historic porch designed by Joseph Royer and the installation of a new chiller, launching a digital exhibit portal, and whereas the Urbana Free Library completed a strategic planning process which guides the work of the library to embrace, enrich, empower, and enhance the Urbana community. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Urbana Free Library Board of Trustees, Urbana, Illinois, as follows. Section 1, recognition and thanks. The Board of Trustees hereby recognizes and sincerely thanks Chris Shearer for his years of service to the Urbana Free Library and its residents as president of the Board of Trustees. Section 2, notification of resolution. The board hereby directs that a signed copy of this resolution be presented to Mr. Shearer. Section 3, all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provision of this resolution are rescinded. And so before I show the gift, do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Becky, roll call.
Roll call.
Beth,
Aye.
Sharice,
Yes.
Barbara,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Lupe,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
and Jane.
Yes.
All right.
Uh,
Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, if I could speak, we didn't have discussion on that.
Yes, you may, please.
It's unfortunate that we're not able to do this in a way that Chris hears us. And I'm hoping that there'll be an opportunity at some point in the future for us to express our appreciation directly to him. I don't know how soon that will be, but it's just unfortunate that he didn't get to hear it, but he'll get the resolution. And I hope that will be meaningful for him. When you run an organization like this, as long as he has, there just a lot of ups and downs that you deal with when you're a leader. And my tenure overlapped a few years with Chris, and I never doubted Chris's commitment to the library. And I know all of you shared my view of that. He was committed to it. And as I said in an email to him, that I thought that the energy that he chose to devote to the library family would pay dividends for generations. And I think that all of us, when we have the opportunity, should take it to communicate the best of wishes to him as he moves to the future, the next stage of his life. He certainly, as I said in my email to him, he certainly earned the opportunity to walk away from his presidency, and I know you all agree with me that we wish him well.
Very nicely said. Thanks, John. Okay, let's see my little Zoom camera. There's a little bit of reflection here, but what this is it's a book. It's a glass book, so you're seeing both sides of the book.
Wow.
And you know, and sorry about the reflection, but it's just very lovely. Of course, it has its name and it's got the print of the library on those. So
Beautiful.
and it says, you know, presented to Christian Shearer, 2013 to 2020, in gratitude for your years of dedicated service to the Urbana community as board president of Urbana Free Library. So it's just you know, very lovely. Okay. So with that, we'll move to the next item, the next action item 9.2. This is resolution 2020-12 to accept the Nick Rudd Music Fund gift. And I will read this resolution as well. So this is the resolution to accept gifts, whereas the city of Urbana is a municipal corporation, a body politic, and a home rule unit of government pursuant to Article 7, Section 6 of the Illinois Constitution of 1970. And whereas the city organized and formed the Urbana Free Library as a local library pursuant to the Local Library Act 75 ILCS 5/1-1. And whereas the Board of Library Trustees of the library has the power and authority to accept and reject gifts and bequests, whether or not such gifts and bequests are deemed restricted as provided by the donor or decedent. And whereas the Urbana Free Library Foundation has offered to donate or bequeath to the library the following cash sums. The name of the gift is the Nick Rudd Music Fund. The amount is $2,000, and it does have a restricted use of $1,500 for CDs and $500 for new collections. So whereas the Board of Library Trustees desires to accept the aforesaid gifts and bequests on the terms and conditions provided by the Urbana Free Library Foundation, as the case may be. Now therefore be it resolved by the Urbana Free Library Board of Trustees, Urbana, Illinois, as follows. Section 1, the Board of Library Trustees shall and hereby does accept the above stated gift and donation and shall be bound by the conditions and restrictions, if any, pursuant to which such gift and donation have been made. Section 2, the Board of Library Trustees on behalf of itself and the library shall and hereby expresses its true appreciation and gratitude for the aforesaid gifts and donations. This will be adopted by the Board of Trustees today. So do I hear a motion to approve this resolution?
I move to approve.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Becky, roll call?
Beth,
Aye.
Sharice,
Aye.
Barbara,
Aye.
John,
Yes.
Lupe,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
and Jane.
Yes.
All right, the motion carries. Okay, 9.3 is the FY21 budget amendment. Celeste, I'll turn this over to you.
So this budget amendment has two parts. The first part is the spending of the Nick Rudd Music Fund, mask. And that shows how the funds will be spent. Again, $1,500 for CDs. That's the CD line, which includes vinyl as well as physical CDs themselves. And actually the primary purchase will be vinyl because that is the desire of the donor who's setting up the account and would have been Nick's favorite source as well. And then $500 for new collections. And then when I did the budget this year, I goofed and I inadvertently put the children's database money in the adult database line and vice versa. So we're just looking to accept the funds for the music fund and then fix my mistake.
So moved.
All right. Roll call, Becky?
Second.
Wait, did I get a second? Okay.
Second.
Lupe? Okay. Okay. Beth,
Yes.
Sharice,
Yes.
Barbara,
Aye.
John,
Yes.
Lupe,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
and Jane.
Yes.
Okay, motion
Could I say
carries.
one other thing?
Yes.
Sorry.
Sure.
I forgot, there was also the Joe Tabor Memorial Fund in there as well. That was $855 for books as well. Sorry for not mentioning that one. So that was also in the budget amendment in the director's report. Thanks to those, that donor as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so moving on to the bylaws, 9.4, the bylaws of the Urbana Free Library Board of Trustees. And Celeste, do you want to start that? Would you like me to do this?
Do you mind?
What? Okay, so given the situation that we have with Chris resigning, the way our bylaws were written was that when the president is no longer being the president, the vice president will step up. And as I keep saying, probably any other time, this would not be a problem for me. But unfortunately, in my other life, every single moment is full of trying to support the whole infrastructure behind the university's COVID testing, tracking project. And this is going to continue for a long enough time that I really would not be able to give the time that is needed and should be put into the role of president. So therefore, it made sense to take a look at these bylaws and amend them to make make things more flexible, and in fact, make our bylaws more consistent with what other library bylaws look like, which is putting this flexibility in. And so if you looked at what was in your board packet, you can see that what is being proposed is to make it so that if the vice president is not able to step up, well, then we can have the nominating committee propose one or more candidates to fill the vacancy. So that's part of the flexibility at the next regularly scheduled board meeting. And that we're also looking at the officers of the board to be elected annually for 1-year term as first regular meeting subsequent to the trustees. So what it basically is, in the event of a vacancy, the president, the vice president would perform the duties of the president until a new president is elected. And that's what I'm doing right now. So what I'm asking for is for the nominating committee to, once again, collect interested candidates. And John has said that he is interested. So we know at least there's one person who could step up. And if anyone else is interested, you can please ask for any other interest as well. And so that by the next meeting, you would present the candidates for the position, and then we could vote at the following meeting. So I would just continue leading the meetings until that point. So any questions?
I have a question.
Yes,
Mike and I are still the nominating committee.
you sure are, Barbara.
Okay. And then the other question is, oh God, I forgot. Oh, shoot. Oh, who lets you know, or is it you or Mike and me that knows if anybody besides John is interested?
I think anyone would reach out to you and
Okay,
Michael as a nominating
That's
committee.
nominating. Okay,
Yes.
curious.
Okay. So seeing that, I will look for a motion to approve the amended bylaws of the Urbana Free Library Board of Trustees.
So moved.
Oh, okay, wait, sorry, sorry.
I had
Yes,
a
Barbara.
question, if it's not too late. Way back, and I didn't pull the minutes. I had suggested at one point we were going to revise the bylaws to be more in keeping with other library bylaws. And I don't remember the details. I just remember, and Celeste, you remember, that we decided to wait until the strategic plan was over. And my question is, are there other things we want to change in the bylaws now while we're changing this part?
You did actually a bunch of changes. That was May of 2019. So actually before Jeff left, so there've been a couple of small revisions. And then you're right, we were gonna look, the board, were gonna look again after this. So one thing that was discussed at that time was, would there be term limits on
Term limits.
officers? And that was one of the places that you all said, let's wait.
Yeah.
Let's wait on that. There may be other places, but we just looked really specifically at the election and vacancy parts. If you want me to do so and a board member would like to work with me, happy to open these back up and reach back out in a couple more months, if someone would like that.
Would that put things on hold though in terms of Beth and John? I mean,
I would recommend, sorry, go ahead.
I just say, although it'd be kind of convenient to amend the bylaws all in one group, there's nothing saying that we can't do it
Okay.
in phases. So I think I'd recommend doing this and then taking a little more time to make sure we can do a more comprehensive review
Okay.
of others that might want to be changed. Okay. All right. Now, do I hear a motion for approval? Michael, you had moved, and do I hear a second?
Second,
Okay, so Becky, roll call.
Hey, Beth,
Yes.
Sharice,
Yes.
Barbara,
yes.
John,
Yes.
Lupe,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Jane.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. All right, the last individual item is a circulation and interlibrary loan policy. And actually, I have it pulled up here, and there's just like one small change to it. So can I have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, Becky, roll call.
And her first and seconded. Okay.
Any discussion?
Any discussion on this?
Beth,
Yes.
Sharice,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Lupe,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Jane.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. And there are no discussion items. So do we have any report from friends? Celeste?
I have some information that Barbara Bennett would have reported on, so I will speak in her stead. I had mentioned in the director's report that the Friends sold a single book for $300.
Yes.
So the volunteers that we have working with Eleanor are really doing a fantastic job of evaluating the titles as they come in. We're getting lots of donations, even though we're not really accepting them. They still show up in our drop boxes and such. And our average is for the month has been more like $1,100 to $1,200 versus $800 before. And this
Can I
past month, it was closer to 2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, can I just
So
say real
that-
quick? I just totaled up for August because I'm working on the bank recs right now. And for August, it was $1,683.
Wow.
Wonderful.
That was August total for the Amazon bookstore.
That's great news. So that's been wonderful, especially since the Friends of the Library aren't able to have a physical book sale in the space right now. So there is a deficit of about $17,000 we're expecting if they can't have a book sale. But the increase in this, what would normally have been like cafe books, this is helping make up the difference.
Yeah.
Those go into, the money's going to different funds. So this goes into the fund where you buy big things like the furniture or landscaping or something at a grander scale. They bought the awnings out of this fund, whereas the other money went straight into the book sale accounts for the archives and the youth and adult books. So this year we're spending into fund balance a little bit because of that. So also I read about, and maybe you have seen about this as well, the Little Free Diverse Library. There's a person, Barbara, yeah, you saw this. There is a woman whose name is Sarah Kamya, and she's in charge of the Little Free Diverse Library. She founded it. She got money from different people and is stocking Little Free Libraries with diverse titles. And she's also stocking Little Free Libraries not in her neighborhood. There's wonderful articles about this. And so I sent the information to the Friends who reached out to her, and she has agreed to send books of diverse titles to put in our Little Free Library across the street. So we're really excited about that. So that will reflect our community in different ways because we rely on the donations that come in to stock the little free library. So we rely on what is coming our way. And this is a benefit. So that's what I have.
Where is her little free library located?
She's in New York.
Oh. Okay.
And she had been living somewhere else too. So she was in a couple of places with COVID and she's like, what the heck? So there's a couple of great articles I'll send your way.
Okay.
Right.
Can I ask another question?
Yes.
The $300 book. What was the title of that book?
I don't even know. Dawn, do you know?
Oh my gosh. Was it like first edition of Dr. Seuss or something, or?
You know, Sharice, you're the first person to ask that question. I'll find out for you.
I think it was something, an early edition of an Oz title, like Oz or something. And I believe we have, it's a series and I believe we have more than just this one. So Eleanor is just very excited about the potential.
I'm excited about that. That's amazing to me.
Yes. Gee. Huh.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, very impressive. And Celeste, did I hear you say people are kind of still dropping off books for the book sale, even though we don't quite have the book sale? We're not advertising for them, but people are just simply, all right.
Well, and it's good that they are, because sometimes they'll drop off a bag of books and like skedaddle, but then there'll be our library books in there or library books of other schools or other libraries.
I see.
So we actually do need to go through them because out of courtesy to other institutions, we want to make sure the books go back where they belong.
Sure. No, so that makes sense. All right, great. All right, thank you. Okay, so moving on to the foundation. Celeste or Amanda, do you have something you'd like to report for this?
I've got some things, or Amanda, if you prefer to go, whatever.
Oh, go ahead, Celeste.
Okay, we are very excited to announce the speakers, the authors that the foundation will be sponsoring at the Pygmalion Festival this year. Pygmalion, of course, is all online. And Bernadine Evaristo is going to be in conversation with Terrence Hayes, and they're going to be moderated by Chris Abani. This is going to be from 3 to 4 o'clock Central Time on Saturday, September 26th. And you will all get a postcard, a beautiful postcard that Jenny has designed because she does such great work. And Bernadine is in Europe. And the gentlemen are here. So we've got a cross-continental talk about literature. It's going to be really exciting.
Very cool.
So that's one thing from the foundation. They're working on their fall appeal letter, and Amanda and DMP they're hard at work on the different formats of that and what it will look like and how to be more efficient in our process so we can spend more time talking with donors and getting to know them than the actual signing of a letter. And then the foundation board has been working on a grant policy of their grant process of giving the library itself the funds that they raise for us. They've approved a gift policy of which gifts they will or will not receive. And then they're currently finishing up their investment policy. And the Busey representative who is responsible for the funds that they keep in Busey will be reporting tomorrow. She'll be giving a report about the investment and how it works at Busey tomorrow. So the foundation's got a lot going.
Yeah, sounds really busy time for them. Great. Okay, and the last one, the Heartland Library System. Anything to report, Lupe?
I have just a brief update. The new and improved L2 is now live. So if you haven't seen it yet, it is up and running and you can go in and get your profile reset up. So the IHLS team has been actively participating in training and are available to support member libraries during the transition. They have recently changed the quarantine requirements and processes based on the Realm Project 3 test results. So those went in effect the end of August. And then lastly, the IHLS annual member day is now scheduled as a virtual meeting, which will take place on November 10th. So it will be an all virtual event for professional development, networking, and inspiring our member library leaders, staff, and trustees. We'll have more details about the plans for that, what it's going to look like, and what activities will be presented, hopefully announced in early October.
Great. Thank you. All right, Celeste, would you like to highlight anything from your administrative report?
Well, I have a couple of bonus things, actually. Speaking of conferences, Member Day is a really nice day, and it's always nice to talk to our member libraries in this part of state and have those networking opportunities and learn together. So I hope you take a look at the calendar when it comes out. But the Illinois Library Association is going to have their annual conference in October, and I don't remember the dates. I was just trying to Google it fast and was unsuccessful. But to attend the conference this year, it's only $100, and they have a trustee track. So I'm going to make sure I get you the information. It's all virtual, so you don't have to travel somewhere. Again, high quality conference options to learn more about being a board member or about other fun library things. You can go to a talk on professional development for material selector and romances. So there's all kinds of events, and I encourage you to attend. The library has a budget for board and administration. So if you want to attend, we would set you up with the library credit card to register you. So please consider if you are able to go. It's been another
Can I add something
busy
to
month.
that?
Yeah, go ahead, Barbara.
Yeah, I've attended it, and the Illinois one is just excellent. It's considered one of the best in the country. And I want to just emphasize, you do not have to be a librarian. Most of the trustees are not. So I felt, I mean, if I am a librarian, but it didn't matter. I mean, I felt comfortable there. And it's just really excellent. It's as good as the national conference, really.
Thanks. It sounds actually really nice.
Yeah.
And then I would like to thank again my colleagues who worked so hard during COVID. This the survey results from the curbside pickup service are really, really high. These are high numbers that to get 4.95 out of 5 and 4.85 out of 5 with satisfaction. The comments all throughout were glowing, or the ones that weren't completely glowing were from our first couple of days. We had staff in IT building a homegrown system, and then we converted to a different system. Staff were working out of Elm Street and then moving to the front of the building. We were opening the library to the public. There were so many things happening at the same time, and people really dug in and devoted themselves to providing this service, and patrons loved and love it. So I really can't emphasize how much work and how devoted people are. And this is just one way of showing how our public recognizes that work and dedication. So I am so proud of my colleagues and grateful to work with them. That's all I want to say.
All right. Thank you. And here.
Yes, here.
You're here.
I'd like to add something else if I might. First of all, I've used, as your staff knows, I'm there every other day, and it's fabulous. They are so cheerful. I don't know how they manage to stay so cheerful, but they are. And I am really happy that you did in programming the James Baldwin program.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And look at those numbers. I am so impressed. And it was just really a good program. And I thank you for that. And I'm also impressed with all the press coverage you got. It looks like a lot this time. I don't know how it compares to other months. I can't remember. And the story walk. Oh, the story walk. Fabulous. I hope you continue to do that because I think it'll grow. The one at Crestview was wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you,
I'd like-
Barbara. Go ahead.
And I'd like to say something. For the past few weeks also, the archivist, I think at the library, has been working with some colleagues of mine over at the city building to help, so that we're trying to research Urbana history, because I'm in the process. Well, they're helping me doing most of the work actually, with writing this particular resolution that I want to get written, and it has just been amazing. The ugly history that we have as a city, that we were once a Ku Klux Klan destination, that the city was. And the thing is that it's history. See, I can accept it good, bad, and ugly. And I just want to say it's thanks to whoever Will is working with over at the library that is just plowing it out, one thing after the next. And I want to thank whoever it is. I can't remember. He told me, of course, but we were in the middle of a meeting and I didn't really write the name, but excellent work.
Annika, do you know who it is?
Thank you, and you're welcome. I
Ooh.
believe it's Tom. Tom Kuipers has been doing a lot of the research.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just like, every day I get, when Will sends me something, my eyes are going, what? I mean, that
He
is,
was so excited to be working on this project. He was like, I have 100 ideas. And I was like, you go for it.
oh yeah, I want him to keep it up, whatever. It is amazing. I mean, it's so much information. I cannot digest it all. Some of it, it's so sad that I have to laugh, because if I don't laugh, I would just cry. And some of it is just, it's like, wow, like, it's amazing to me. So whoever's doing it, Tom, tell Tom, and I'll have to just get him a nice card and I don't know, bake him some brownies or something. It's just excellent job. Excellent. I love it.
Well, thank
I'd
you.
like
I'll
to
let him
second.
know.
I'd like to second that. Donica, thank you for meeting with me the other day on behalf of the League of Women Voters. Charisse, do we have stuff in the league files for you? Have you seen the Shack study?
I haven't seen him.
We'll talk.
Oh, okay, girl, we'll talk.
It's not fun, but it's there.
I'm sure.
I'm like you, it's history, but I'm glad somebody's keeping it.
Oh yeah. And I keep thinking, when I saw this stuff that Will brought to me in the meeting, the first thing that came to my mind was, thank God for these News Gazette, all that News Gazette stuff that we got. I mean, I don't know if that's where he got it from or if it was just already in the collection. I'm looking at articles from the 1920s. And seriously, my eyes are just bugging out reading some of the stuff that I would never have believed about. I mean, it's not like I hadn't been told. It's not like it hadn't been passed down, but it's different seeing it in print. It's just different seeing it in print. And so it's just amazing. But good job. Excellent job. So thank you, Donica.
Thank you.
And just really showing just the value of this wonderful library.
Yeah. I've told people that live in LA, it's like, I went to the libraries there. It's like, our library is so much better than the libraries. Their libraries are still closed. They're still closed. I don't even know if they're doing curbside service or whatever, but it's like, oh, our library is amazing. And I didn't realize how amazing it, just being on the trustee board has definitely opened my eyes to just so much, the service that how we serve our community. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. And looking forward to more and more as we're building. It's great. It is great. Okay. So with that, I think we're going to move on to, we have no committee reports at this point, and I have no president report. And is there any unfinished business? And does anyone have any new business? Well, hearing no further business, this meeting is adjourned.